think about it. There we go. Welcome, everyone. Episode 11. It's been
12?
2 weeks.
12?
11? 12?
It's 12, isn't it?
12, we had 11. I think we did 11. 11 was the cafe special, wasn't it?
I
think it was.
Hello, welcome to episode 12. Not editing that out. Everyone all right? Actually, you might see there's another head in the bottom right corner. We have Scott here, who's
Hello.
well, we'll go into what Scott is here for in a minute. Is everyone all right?
Yeah, no complaints.
Good. Well, Scott, do you want to introduce yourself, mate?
Yeah, so you may have seen me. I sort of get around on YouTube. May have seen me on Close Order or before that Triple Crown, doing lots of 8th edition things. But yeah, I've been about on YouTube a bit and had the misfortune of spending the weekend with Jack at the Warhammer World Doubles.
Oh God, you're lucky. We have to spend 2 weeks, once every 2 weeks with him.
Yeah, you don't have to spend 48 hours with me.
Yeah, that was rough.
I guess that's right. Yeah, and you call us the YouTubers, Scott. You just reeled off all the big hitters there, mate. Right. So welcome. We've obviously got Scott on as a guest. Should we do all the usual jazz? Should we go into the news? Right. Let's see if we can do this properly. So we've got ready, Liam, for your amazing stage, and we've got a new ticker. Hey, we're learning. Right, the news then. This is out this week, I believe.
Yeah, out this week, pre-order for the last week and a half at the time of recording. And obviously we've got the rules previews from all various people and Rob 2 days before everyone else. With all the Cafe Army of Infamy.
Mm-hmm. And I believe there's already some form of dispute around the magic items as well, is there not?
It's exactly the same wording.
Oh. Yeah, around one particular item being the Ring of Jet, right?
No, that's fine.
No, the ring. I think that's just one that everyone's crying about because it's going to make them even more overpowered, isn't it?
Can it go on Empire units? That's the question. I think that's the thing that's been touted about, isn't it? I've seen a number of lists floating around where they've got multiple Rings of Jet on multiple characters. So
multiple Rings of Jet's fine. It's
is it coming
where
out?
You put them is the discussion, but it's the same wording as we had in Warriors of the Sea, for example, and no one's kicked up a fuss about it for the last year. So I presume we're still going on the FAQ.
Yeah.
So you buy it from the book your model comes on.
I was going to say, didn't they FAQ that like super early on because of the drag ogre in Warriors?
Yeah.
I mean, I've built a couple of lists already with it in, and I've seen a few people do a few putting like cheap characters on Pegasus and stuff like that, or Pegasi.
That's because you're a power gamer, Dan.
I know. The thing is, you don't even need balloons to do it. You just take multiple Rings of Jet and just annihilate everybody with them.
I mean, it's not. What power level's the item?
2.
So
it's roll a 6.
Technically level 4 caster, aren't you? So
you need to roll a 6, assuming you've not got someone opposing you.
Yeah, or MR or anything like that. So
yeah. I mean, that's just Magic in general, though, isn't it? I think it's obviously a lot harder now to cast most things unless you specifically build into it, like the Beastmen one, and is it the wand? What's the wand that gives you the +1 as well?
There's no issue if you just roll a double 6 to the spell.
Yeah,
exactly. Sorry,
it's true. Well, the Empire Wizards can take the Wizard Staff, can't they? Which gives you +1 to your Magic Missile. I know it doesn't affect the Ring of Jet, but I've seen people use that they've got the Demonology spell summoning. Is it?
Yeah.
So obviously, you're casting as a level 4 then essentially, just with your Magic Missile. So just little 120 point buff pieces with 2 Magic Missiles that murder everything.
Yeah, but they blow over for a stiff breeze themselves, so
they do. But yeah, so
Yao Ming is finally available-ish, nearly.
Oh, Jack.
Yao Ming? No?
Yao Ming.
What Ming Yao?
Miao Ying.
Like it.
Oh dear.
That's close enough. I've still not got my original cafe journey. It's still sat with GW waiting for my made to order Beastmen BSB.
Oh dear, you're definitely getting the multiple face palm meme over the top of that one. From the leaks, I think it looks quite cool. I think it just adds something what they haven't got, and that's shooting. Essentially, I think
They haven't got shooting.
No, but I mean like infantry shooting, not balloons or cannons. But it means you can have. Oh, actually, this is one thing I did want to bring up. So, as a detachment in the detachment ruling, if you have the keyword of, or it's a keyword that you have the regimental unit rule, can a mercenary / ally unit be a detachment for that primary unit?
So we picked this up as well with on the Goonhammer stuff, and we can't find a reason why not.
Yeah.
So I think that, well, I'm not sure if it's meant to be or not, but my rough interpretation is that if it's 120 points you're putting into handgunners, it's not another balloon, and that's better for everyone. So just let people do it.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, the list arrow didn't have any balloons in it. It had lots of guns and lots of militia, because obviously cheap hobbies that can take objectives.
Do we need just a second Empire gunline army though?
I mean, they're better than Empire gunline, aren't they? That's the thing. Well, they've got the support, they've got the cannon support and the magic, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I think I'd run crossbows anyway instead of handguns, because even though it's called, is it like the handgun drill or something like that? It's just
we've got the handgun drill and the cafe and black powder.
Yeah.
So a unit of like 12 or something handgunners backing up a unit of Jade Warriors is perfectly fine. And like I say, it's points which are not being invested in arguably the better cafe models.
A balloon or another cannon or.
I really like it in terms of it flexing it up a little bit. So I've done a bunch of intro games over the last month with people down at Bash, and I've not been taking my cafe for them, but I could take the cafe if I had a unit of Empire dudes or 2 Empire dudes. Basically lower the power level of the list without me having to just paint more Jade Warriors and Lancers.
I think the frightening thing with is the balloon's literally like 50 points more though.
Yeah,
without any upgrades. But
will this obviously at some point I'd expect you to start seeing more Cathayan units that we're seeing on Total War, so like the sort of infantry ranged units in there. Does this list not just very quickly become superseded by, well, it could be, I don't know, it could be 5 years before that appears, who knows, but like it just feels like they could have just released those extra units now instead of doing, I don't know. I guess it's just to try and tie it into the story a bit more.
Test bed, couldn't it, to what units? Because essentially the units are essentially the peasant units, aren't they, from Total War? You know, you've got your... Go on, then.
I think you've got peasant units and you've got the military, the ranged arm of the Jade. So you've got Great Crossbowmen, the peasants, the crane guns, are they?
Yeah, crane guns.
So there's loads of options there.
Do we think we'll... Go on, sorry. Leah.
I said this before when it came to like Orc and Goblins and like the fact that Kicknick doesn't have a model yet.
Yeah.
And I think it's that kind of Games Workshop trying to make you jump between armies a little bit in your purchasing habits. But I bought a cafe army. Whatever comes next, I probably can't go and get a new army. But if more of this comes out in 9 months or 12 months, I've had my little break. I've painted up what I've bought, maybe, and then there's now some Jade Crossbowmen and some peasant units. Fantastic. Get them in, add them to the army, and I can go again. And obviously in that gap, they'll have more Orc and Goblin stuff or more Dwarf stuff or whatever. And it's kind of making sure that you've always got something fairly new in your head to buy.
Yeah.
And that's the only play this game.
Do you think we'll see a lot of sort of fun hobby around these units, like not just using the Empire models and sort of trying to convert them up to look more Cathayan style support units?
I've had a look at using the, I mean, people might have seen that I've been posting up asking for it. If anyone's got any, let me know. The crew from the balloons, because you can actually arm them obviously with the long rifles, whatever they're called, or the crane guns.
Crane guns, yeah.
Look like handguns. Well, they are handguns.
So this is
so to like 2 of the crew there, 2 lots of the crew, so it becomes your 10 handgunners. Which
this is GW's way of selling more balloons, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
very expensive handgunners. 160 quid for a unit of handgunners.
And more than 95 retail.
I've got some Empire units on the way. Picked up one of them earlier today, and I'll be converting them up a little bit. Whether it's things like the lantern kit comes with spare swords and shields.
Yeah.
So things like that, we're able to put them into the army.
Yeah.
Or maybe if I paint up a unit of, I don't know, swordsmen for whatever reason, I can then put, instead of my unit champion, have another Jade Warrior unit champion in there. Like,
so will you paint them up to the same color scheme as your Cathay, or like in this picture you can see that obviously the Empire, they've got their own sort of Marienburg color scheme or whatever region that is.
I'm going to do them in a different color scheme to the Cathay, but I'm going to base them exactly the same.
Yeah.
So it all fits together in that way, and maybe I'll pick, like, you've got the Empire and you've still got like blue and yellow. So maybe I'll pick one color which is different to the Cathay, and maybe add in, like, you keep the green and do yellow as a secondary color, something like that. So it's tied in, but not overly so.
Yeah.
What do you think, Scott, to all this madness going off here?
Yeah, I think the fact they've included or given you the option to include Empire missile troops, which is, like you guys said, the main sort of thing missing from the Cathay range, suggests that maybe Jade Warrior crossbowmen and the Peasant Bowmen aren't like immediately round the corner. And they're, I don't know, maybe a year, maybe longer off, which I think is a shame, because you're just going to see a lot of the same Cathay armies. But you do have options if you want to go down that sort of infantry heavy route with the Empire stuff, which is cool. It's just a shame they ignore like half the rules that balance mercenaries out. They ignore all the rules that balance mercenaries out.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, if you didn't ignore the misbehaving mercenaries thing, would you want to invest points in all your special rules have a chance of not working? That's how I look at it.
Yeah, it's very fair. Like, I don't think anyone would take them if they didn't ignore the misbehaving mercenaries. But yeah, something different. I don't know if is it the JC fleet the list is called, something like that, isn't it?
Something like that, yeah. For sort of competitive play, I don't really know what it adds to Cathay. It doesn't.
No, we've seen a lot of the journal stuff doesn't add competitive play, right?
Yeah, that's fair. But I think a lot of the journals have had at least one list, which does. Probably not both, but a lot have had one. And to be fair, for most journals, you can argue both have added something at least competitively.
Yeah,
we said this last week. We said this last week, didn't we? Like, it's a different arcane journal to the rest of the things. It's not an expansion to an army. So it's going to be what happens next and the one after that where it becomes interesting and we see which kind of pattern they decide to take.
Yeah, they're almost campaign books, aren't they? With Armies of Infamy, just obviously for the main game. Which, like you say, I think when we did the Arcane Journal episode, I think we probably only come up with maybe 3 of the Arcane Journals which have got something that's highly competitive, maybe 4. The rest are just kind of there on fluff, really, aren't they? Fluff merit, and so I think you're right, Scott. I think it's just, and Liam, just to add, kind of just to move the timeline along in him. I think it's almost to answer the question of what the hell are Cathay doing in the old world as well, because they're a long way away in
making GW money.
yeah. Big Mama. What did you call her? Jack. Ying.
Ying?
No, you didn't.
Yao Ming?
Yao Ming. Big Mama Yao Ming. Looking after, obviously, the Empire, which I think is the Fluff, I believe, isn't it? She's kind of put herself as the overlord of the Empire as well. or the Protector of the Empire. I'm
Can't
looking
wait to
forward
be-
to it anyway, and that's out Saturday as a recording, so in a couple of days. Which
So
I'll
a
get
week
mine.
ago when you're listening to this.
Yeah, when I've got around to editing, to a couple of weeks, months, who knows? Or if you're going
The
by
other-
Liam's time, 57 weeks from now.
Well, we'll be playing Kislev by the time this episode comes out.
Yeah. We'll be playing 9th edition Old World.
The other bit that I know has caused a bit of controversy with this book is like the power level of some of the magic items. I know we touched on the Ring of Jet earlier, but it's the armor as well. The full plate armor, 5+ ward, magic resistance 2.
Magic Red's 2, yeah. And it's like 40 points or something, isn't it?
Yeah. But what I do think it does is items like that, specific items in certain armies, open up builds. So, for example, that item, yes, it's good on a balloon, clearly, but it's like you've already got 2 5+ wards for 30 and 35 points. The MR2 is great, but I've personally not found it. Like, I've not ever been at a table thinking, oh, I wish I had Magic Resistance 2 on the balloon. That would really help it become takeable. Like, it's already really good. But what you could do is, if you then put that item on a Gatekeeper, Gatemaster, maybe a BSB, in a big unit of Lancers that's got Meow Yings and Celestial Guard buff, it suddenly means that not only do you have a unit that is now better than it was before, it's still not the best thing in the book. And it opens up, like, if there are, I don't know, 10, 15% of all tournament lists going forward are cafe, and people have gotten painted and stuff, but now only 3 of them in a 30-person event are balloons. You've got one that's this combat Death Star roaming around with support, and that's better for the game as a whole. And sometimes I think the items like that get overlooked for what they bring. It's just on raw power level, it's great, which it is, but actually army power level,
it unlocks in the rest of the list.
Yeah, and it seems like if you're taking the big unit of Jade Lancers, you almost want the banner there where it stops magic working on a 3+ all the time.
Yeah, the Dragon's Eye banner.
Like the old room
Yeah.
Room used to do that.
Yeah. It's like every list I wrote that had that big block of Jade Lancers prior to this book had that banner on the big unit of Lancers. But when you've got Magic Resistance 2 on it, and now you've got 2 banner slots effectively, because you've got the BSB's banner plus the unit's banner, you can actually play with some of the other good banners that are there that you feel that, at least I felt, you didn't want to take prior to that. So it's just one overpowered item, one really good item, actually opens up so much more than it appears to on paper. Yes, it makes lanterns better, but that's not how I see it being used.
Yeah, well, they got that new item coming in the next journal, which is the 20-point summon a balloon ring, right?
Yeah, that's common. Well, I was just about to say, actually, were you saying that about when people having their cafe armies painted and stuff? I think this book also kind of cuts that timeline short, if that makes sense. Because if people have already got an Empire army, they can kind of push those into the big units they've already painted, so they don't have to try and fill out the slots. Sorry, not the slots, the points for a cafe army. It's like, oh, well, I'll take a couple of your minimum core of Lancers / Warriors, 1,000 balloons, and then 1,000 handgunners. It's I think it puts that painting necessity down for them.
That's going to be a nice mix of balloons and Outriders now, aren't you?
I mean, I have got 30 Outriders, so yeah, that'll be interesting, won't it? Although they're not as good though, because they're not known. So, and on the magic item as well, there's one thing I really like on the Shugengan Lord. That's the sword of, I want to say Justice, but I don't think that's right. It's the one that gives you the 5+ killing blow.
Yeah,
which is so good on something with like Spectral Doppelganger. It just goes, and it's like, I think it's +2 -2 as well.
Something like that.
Yeah, and it's not even strikes last. It just requires 2 hands, which they can't take a shield, so they don't care, and they just run around like He-Man in everything.
Yeah, one day it will get into like some kind of ogre Death Star and just take off 7 of them. And it'll be stuff of legend.
Not the stuff of legend if you beat ogres. Like that's just.
I mean, the sword could be wasted because after you've just like 6 times ring of jetted your opponent and he's got nothing left. It's pointless having that sword. So, and that's also after they've been bombed by the balloons. I mean, I don't know if you guys have watched it. I forget what the YouTube channel's called, but they played a game with this in it, and it lasted about 30 minutes. It was 3 balloons, 5 ring of jets against high elves, and I think he had like 3 units left after turn 1. Oh, well, sorry, that's a lie. He had 2 dragons left after turn 1. I was like, cool. My God. It's horrific. Hopefully no one takes that kind of stuff, but we know everybody will. So
you just insert sensible comp into your events, Dan, and we're fine.
Nah, it's funny watching everybody sweat because I don't play in them. So,
right, shall we move on from news?
Let's move on to the next bit.
You got your banner ready?
What changes first, the banner or the picture?
Oh, let's do the banner. Hobbies next. What we all been doing? Oh, it's me. Yeah, as I stated at the beginning, I have not been doing very much. I got about 20 minutes the other day when the babe fell asleep. So painting some terrain up for our, obviously, I run events, so painting up some Bugman's 4X barrels for our new dwarf board we've got, and you can kind of see a little bit of a brazier there as well on the left hand side picture. So they're basically going to be trees, because trees on every board get a bit boring after a bit, don't they? So we've kind of divvied it up. I know you guys, Liam and Jack, you've obviously seen my boards before. Scott, I don't think you've been to one of my events, have you?
No, not yet.
Cool. So I've got like Bretonian tents as well, used for trees on like a Bretonian board. We've got Liam's favourite, which he stayed on all the time, all weekend, weren't it, Liam? The cafe board, which is
played on one board.
Bamboo shoots.
Looking
like cafe and stuff. So it's just to make them look a bit different.
Another bit of terrain to take off the board straight away. And
I know, but this is it, isn't it, everyone? I'm going to start gluing the trees onto the bases so you have no chance. But yeah, it's just a bit of scatter terrain counts as woods. I've got some little, I'll just show you some 3D printed brewing machines what are currently being painted. So these are little brewers to go with them as well as the terrain. 2 lots of terrain, which I've got. But yeah, that's not been doing much hobby, I'm afraid. Real life has took its hold on me. Should we just go down in order as we are on the screen? So it is Jack. Jack.
Yes.
Why do dwarf stuff the same as your skeletons?
The dwarf stuff's blue.
Okay.
So to be fair, the skeletons do start off that blue.
The skeletons do start off that blue.
Yeah.
But then they got a layer of black over them. So we had, as Scott said, we had our doubles, Throne Skulls doubles at the weekend at Warhammer World. So I took along some dwarves and quickly realised I had actually very little other than infantry painted. So quickly painted up 3 pieces of artillery in about half an hour. And you can see
you lost some wheels too.
Yeah, well, yes. So, I know it's got his bling. It's got his rims on. That's his sort of graded rims.
His spinners.
Yeah. It's like an old WWE belt. And you can sort of just about make out on the organ gun in the bottom right the sort of blue sort of highlights. So I picked up these AK interactive pens. I can't remember the official title for them, but they're just like basically felt tip pens, and they just come in really handy for just doing quick sort of edge highlights. So I've been having fun playing around with those for the last couple of days. So we've got some dwarf artillery done, and then been cracking on with the Tomb Kings. So I finished off the 16 horse archers, although I want to go back and redo the bows because they're just look a bit patchy, so I just need to go back over the red on those, bring them out a bit more. Got the Necrosphinx done, Bone Dragon done. I spent today building the sort of howdah on the back of the dragon, the king, I converted up a couple of characters from the bits left over out the Necro Sphinx and the Tomb King box. Built up some skellies.
Wrong weapon.
And made some unit fillers to go in there because I'm not making 50 skeletons. So I've got, I think, 3 unit fillers, a 4/4 and a 6 to go in there. And I've just had a second Necro Sphinx arrive in the post today. So yeah, the army that I've not written a list for yet. I'm basically just picking things that I like and painting them. Eventually, once I get bored of painting stuff, I'll look at it and actually see what list I can create. But I think the rough idea at the moment is to go, well, yeah, obviously monster sort of mash. I've got a second dragon painted up by the guy that I got the Tomb Kings off of. So I'm just debating how that's a lot more traditional sort of bone colored. So I'm just debating how I tie that into the army without having to repaint it because it's very nicely painted.
You always patch some of the blue into it.
Yeah, because it's the sort of harder and stuff's painted blue. So maybe I can just do a few little tweaks.
Like that.
I could do. I've not got the skill to do that. So I went back over and sort of redid the base and put the sort of sand that I'm using onto it, rather than what he had on. So and paint the rim up and stuff. So I'm sure it'll be fine. I'll just that can be the special one. That's the king to make it obvious which dragon's which. So yeah, plenty of progress on Tomb Kings. I was running in and out of the rain today trying to prime things because I can't sit and wait and do nothing. So a few more characters to paint. Next things to build probably tomorrow. I was surprised how easy the Tomb Dragon was to build. Like it's not. It was a really, really easy kit to put together. Probably took me like half an hour to build it. So like
it depends if you convert it though, like because there's pegs in there where the arms and stuff goes. So with mine, I haven't used the base thing. Mine's like on its hind legs like that.
Yeah. Oh, I can convert models. Oh.
No, but I had to chop a lot of the stuff off. Hind legs, and then obviously the tail's been kind of twisted and stuff. So, but it is relatively easy to build. Yeah, you are right.
Is that painted?
No.
Well, how about I give you the other one that I've got, which has been converted into like a crocodile, which is bone colored, like your army, and you give me that one, and I'll just paint it up in my scheme.
No.
No.
Okay. Because then I've got to get my army to match that scheme.
So that's sort of where I'm up to, just cracking on with Tomb Kings. I don't know. I've got some. What's my next event? I've got one I've got an 8th edition one in 2 weeks, and then I think my next Old World one is the one down in Cardiff that Ollie's running. Some Sylvania showdown.
Is that the one at
end of October?
Yeah, end of October at Firestorm. I think there's 80 plus people going, so it should be a good event. So I'm looking forward to that. And
my cousin gets married that weekend, so I can't go, or I'd have fancied that, to be honest.
I think you should just start sending texts to his phone, pretending to be a woman or something. Just make sure that. So yeah, I'm hoping to have these done for Cardiff. If not, I'll just lucky dip out the garage and pick an army because I'm not really sure. I've not really got any huge desire to play any certain army at the moment. I did have fun with the Nurgle Demons, but they're not quite as good without the Renegade pack, and I don't think Ollie's using that. So that's
do you know why? Do you know why, Jack? It's because the Legacy they don't exist.
Well, they do. He's using Legacy armies. Just not the super buff ones. Anyway, that's me done. So, Scott, let's see your pictures.
No, I did some basing. I did basing on the Friday before driving up to yours for the weekend because I got the models out of the box and went, oh no, I only have 3 based Pegasus, not 4. That is pretty much. I'm just looking around to see if I've got anything else that I've worked on, but I don't think I do. I think that's everything that I've done in probably about 4 months. I've just had a real no like motivation to get anything done because I've not had any events that I've been going to that I've like taken a new army to. So it's always just been like, oh, I've got this painted, I've got this done. So I've just sort of taken what I've got. But a bit like Jack, I've not really got any events for the rest of the year. I've got a one day in middle of November. So I'm hoping to work on my dwarves for the rest of the year. Get some of them painted up for some events next year. Fingers crossed.
You've got an event this weekend, haven't you?
Well, not that I'm playing in, but yes, I have an event I'm running this weekend, which is in like 4 days' time at the time of recording. So 6 months ago by the time. So I was hoping actually to get the Empire painted for that as like the buy army, but that didn't happen. So I think it'll be vampires.
Oh, you horrible man.
Well, it won't be good vampires.
Any vampires is good vampires.
I think you are right, though. I think you do in terms of hobby. Sorry, then before we get into yours, I think in terms of doing hobby, I think you do need something to paint for, don't you? Or I know, Jack, you can just sit and paint for days, but I don't know how you do it sometimes. But me,
because I'd see a whole army after 2 days of painting, I don't see half a model.
Yeah, well,
that's the difference. That's what keeps me entertained is that I can bash out a whole army almost in a couple of sessions. Whereas you guys that are good at painting and like do 50 layers and shades and washes and dry brushes and all the fancy stuff. Like the amount of time it takes me to paint that dragon, like you'd paint half a Cathayan person, and
I'm gonna say I even give you some painting tips earlier, and you was like, I'll think about it. And it was literally just like minimal dry brushing, and you're like, I'll think about it. But no, you're right. Like I think I'm me personally, I'm one of those where if I can't paint something, I know it's not going to be done properly, if that makes sense. And I'll beat myself up about it. I was like, I know that's not done, so I'll have to go back and do it, and then it just takes hours and hours, and then But no, you're right. Me personally, I need something to paint for, if that makes sense. So I get where you're coming from there, Scott. Totally.
No terrain you used to paint this weekend or anything, Scott? Or is it all...
No, I have a few walls. I bought that walls and fences set from GW for my last event.
I was going to say you were going to paint that for your last event.
Yeah, well, I got all the fences painted up, which was enough for like 2 bits per table because I bought 2 of those sets. So I had a load of fences. I just never got the walls painted.
Loads as well.
Yeah. So I've got the walls somewhere right behind me, actually. They're sprayed grey, but that is it.
That's nearly done for a wall.
I know. I literally dry brush them and they're done. But I bought them probably 8 months ago, and here we are.
I bought 2 of those fortified mana boxes, like the big with everything, and I've not even taken them out of the Element Games box yet.
That is such a nice set. That fortified mana, I love that kit. It's so nice.
Yeah, I've built one for our local shop, Patriot, where we run our event. I've just looked actually. I've actually still got 4 boxes of the woods, the fences and walls as well to build and paint. As a TO, Scott, how are you playing the woods? The fences and walls. Are you just sticking them anywhere, or are you actually making them look pretty and stuff? Because
the first event I used them was the last event, which was back in.
It's just after the FAQ, wasn't it? Saying the stop stomps and that sort of stuff.
That sort of thing. So I just put them sort of quite randomly. I put like 1 long piece or 2 small pieces on each board. Had them like fairly random. They weren't like placed around buildings or anything like that. And the feedback I got was they didn't really have an impact. So I think this time I'll use them a bit, not necessarily on every board, but a bit more sort of clustered, like maybe next to a building to create like a garden area or like a road, So there's sort of a bit of a purpose to them, and I think then maybe they'll have a bit more of an impact.
I think now with objectives as well, if you sort of build a little, fencing an objective or something, then people will pop their sort of units on there and make them even. Well, someone will pop a graveguard unit in there, and they'll never shift again in their life. But I think there's probably a bit more play now that there's objectives if you utilize them in sort of, but not even just. If you put them in a way where people are going to have to walk over them and trip over them or like lose their rank bonus because they're over the wall when they're trying to hold an objective, that sort of stuff. I think there's definitely a bit more play to them now in terms of just making them a bit bit more interactive with the table.
Well, that's literally the only reason I asked, obviously, because with my event coming up this week, and I might put them in just to see what it does. Yeah, so I might look. I mean, it's only a 1250 one as well, so it's not a massive one. So I don't think it should make a big difference. But I might put a few on the wall on the boards. But yeah, more to come on that in the next episode in 6 months. Liam, what you got for his son?
So I'm similar to Jack, and I've just been painting models I like the look of, and I'll write a list later. So this is what I've been painting.
For God's sake!
Oh, I just love this really pretty model. What's it? It's got rules. What?
I like the look of.
I like that. That's a good one, Liam.
So yeah, event this weekend up in Element Games in Stockport, and I needed a second lantern.
Needed
a
second
lantern. So look, there's only 5 crew members. There's no character in this one, and yeah, so I've kind of got the first highlights or the first point of bringing it up after the wash on and the crew, and I'll kind of finish that off later on tonight and tomorrow, all ready for the weekend. And that's kind of it. My hobby's ground to a halt since I did all that cafe a couple of months ago.
You highlighted that second unit yet, Liam?
No. But
I'm going to keep asking every 8 weeks when we record these, and eventually you'll say yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to get them done. If I blitz through this tomorrow, I might do them. Depends how much time I get tomorrow evening. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
I do have a question about the painting as well, Liam. You know, your actual balloon itself, or the lantern, sorry. Did you spray that first, or did you paint it? Because I'm really struggling at how. Because I'm not going to paint mine that I'm going to paint mine black, but obviously you can't recess shade black. So
yeah, it's airbrushed to a balloon.
Right. Okay.
All in one go, and then just painted on top of it. It takes about 2 minutes to paint the gold at the top and the bottom.
Yeah.
And about 3 hours to paint the rope.
Yeah, I was just saying that rope looks like a pain in the ass. I would not. That rope would be the same color as my balloon.
Yeah, I'm
you go slightly wrong, and
yeah,
it's a nightmare. So you can't correct the airbrushing once you start painting.
Yeah. Okay.
So
be careful what you're saying.
Yeah, basically, and take your time. There's no other. Like, to be honest, the pens that Jack have got would probably make it a lot easier. Because you actually got more control over the pen than
the only issue with them is that they're not the thinnest nib, so like the bits where like the balloon and touches the rope, I think those bits would be quite tricky. I think you'd have to be very careful, otherwise you'd end up touching the balloon just with like a bit of the nib further up.
Yeah, the hard bit is because obviously it's such a big model. There's very little points to hold it when you're painting it without risking rubbing off the paint that's already on. So someone smart will tell me I need to varnish it between doing steps to stop that happening. But I'm just struggle is my current plan.
I was going to say that's what I'd do, especially if you've airbrushed it. Obviously, it's only very thin and it does, like you say, it does rub off.
There's not a big hole in the bottom that you just put your fist up and just spin it around.
Well, is there a hole in the bottom? I can't remember.
Yeah,
there is, isn't there? Yeah.
There you go. Just put your arm up in there and.
Yeah, you can kind of fit it's 2 fingers.
Whoa.
PG. This is PG show, Liam.
That was getting demonetized.
Have to get monetized in the first place, right?
Yeah, gotta get monetized first.
But yeah, so that's kind of it for painting. Halfway through, a little over halfway through a balloon, and that'll be done by tomorrow evening. Maybe I'll go on to the rest of the models that need highlighting, but it just lets me separate my 2 units. These ones haven't got a magic banner. These ones have got a magic banner, and I'm doing it for my opponents really.
So when you buy it third.
So you what have you done to tweak your list? I assume it's just a tweak of your sort of previous list.
Yeah,
Drop the fire throw for a balloon probably.
Yeah, drop the fire aim for the lantern because it saves me 3 points. And then dropped the earthen rod from the Shugengan to add a burning blade to the magistrate in his balloon. So if there are, basically. and that's it. There's no other changes. And say I've got the mentioned last time I built up a bunch of Jade Lancers that have now been sprayed and based. So at some point they will get done, and I'll pick up Miao Ying as well, maybe in the next couple of months. And I can do with a fun.
Are you going to be painting them a different colour?
Nah. Even though I know that I'm just gonna have them all the same colour, and
Yeah.
the Celestial Guard is pretty clear. It's one big unit, the only Celestial Guard.
Well, that's why I think I'm going to pick up another box and paint them a different colour. I think the gold aren't in the game, but I'll probably paint them a different
The
colour.
problem is you want more than the 10. You want like 14, 15. So I'm not picking up 2 extra units. Yeah, but
I've already got 20.
they're painted with they've already painted in your normal scheme, right then?
Yeah, great. Yeah.
I was going to say, primer.
Just right there. That's my cafe right there.
Yeah, so it's
great.
I'll have 20 and probably do one big unit and maybe a small unit to make up the core. Or just do the warriors. But I've got some Empire bits on the way as well. So they'll make up the Jade Fleet list. And I can have a bit of fun playing with some Empire in my cafe.
Do the crew fit on the bases in the Howder, Liam?
No.
Oh, okay. That's just for painting. You've got them on the bases.
Yeah. You're just on crappy spare bases.
Yeah. I was going to say, it doesn't look like there's enough room because I've seen enough balloons at the weekend. They're so crammed in that Howder, aren't they?
There are if you're doing all 6. Like, I've got a table somewhere that I haven't painted yet.
The table in as well, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah. I need to see if I can find it and then decide if I'm going to. I did put a pin in it and a pin in one of the feet as well, with intention being that I could shift the Phoenix guy back into the middle if I wanted to put the Magistrate in it as well. And I did that on the first one, and I haven't taken the Magistrate out of the balloon. So
I wonder why.
So I'm just going to leave him in and glue these guys in.
Yeah.
And leave it at that. I don't think I need a second one with a character on, and if I do, who's going to actually care? Yeah. I can put him on the floor, running next to it, have him dangling off like Spider-Man underneath it, whatever. I'll figure it out.
One thing I will say, the crew, the models are amazing for the crew. They're so nice.
They're ridiculously good.
Yeah. It's the same with the cannon though, I think, as well. Like the cannon crew are so much more dynamic than what the Jade Warriors are, because the Jade Warriors are pretty static, aren't they? Which I get because they're regimental unit and stuff like that. But like the crew just seem to have got a lot more character to them with the like the poor little old man carrying all the the cannonballs,
wheelbarrow
and stuff. Yeah, and the wheelbarrow. Looks like a bit like Mr. Miyagi, doesn't he? With his big long beard.
He does.
Yeah, we saw enough of him at the weekend, didn't we, Jack?
Yeah, I was going to say, talking about Cafe, let's move on and we'll talk.
Oh, yeah, so
we'll talk all about
we
Cafe.
have to talk about Cafe, and it's the past 4 weeks now. It's been all about Cafe. Right, so you guys did go to an event, didn't you? So you ready? Ready for this transition? You ready, Liam? 1, 2, 3. Why is it not showing? There you go. Event recap. There you go.
So
technical problem.
So Scott had one job, which was take photos all weekend.
Whoa. that is a horrendous
cam on the right hand side. Is that
one? So neither of these are our armies because we didn't actually take any pictures of our armies because we were so engrossed in the atmosphere, the environment, the camaraderie. We just decided we'd go for a digital free weekend and just really focus on the game and the fun
instead. Right, so let's start from the top. Jack and Scott, where did you go? What did you do? And what did you take?
Go on, Scott. You can go. I'll let you run us down.
So we went to the Warhammer World Throne of Skulls doubles, which was 2,000 points split into 2 1,000-point armies. It was mostly based on like the allies sort of within each list. So if you were taking like a journal list, you could only ally it with that Grand Army list. You could ally 2 Grand Army lists together or follow the sort of allies rules in each of the lists. So I took Bretonnians as our main force, and Jack took dwarves as the allies, which is the worst way round in terms of the allies rules. I think that's suspicious, and if the dwarves were the main army, then it's uneasy, which is slightly better. But we decided to go that way because I wanted to pray and get my blessing, which you can't do if you're an allied force. So
I'm quite looking forward to when, like, the second Cafe Arcane Journal's out for next year, when you can do a Cafe army and a Cafe army.
Oh yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, because there wasn't enough Cafe.
No. So it did mean that we were -1 leadership within 6 inches of each other, and caused peril tests if we ran through each other as like a fully reaction.
I think that came up once, the perils tests over the weekend.
And I killed, and my Thunderers killed several of your peasant bowmen or something like that.
I think the dwarves don't care about the leadership, and they don't run fast enough to get perils, so I think they're all right.
No. The Brett's being -1 leadership isn't that great though, because they're not amazingly high. So game one. So there were 72 teams, which I thought was very impressive. The Bugman's was very full on the first morning as everyone was queuing up waiting to get in. It was very, very big turnout considering sort of the previous events that haven't felt like they've been that big.
That's the biggest turnout in terms of personnel, I think, isn't it? It's got to be. So that would be what, 140 odd people?
144 people.
Yeah.
So it was busy. It was chocker. It was good. It was good to see. It did mean it was very tight, even with the new tables and the new stools. It was a bit. There was a lot of bum bumping. But thankfully, because of the new tables, they've got this sort of space to put your boxes under them and stuff.
They're now as well, aren't they?
Yeah. So it was an improvement.
Yeah, definitely massive improvement, I'd say, from the last time I was at Warhammer World. Much more comfortable. Bending over all weekend.
Yeah. So Scott, what did you have in your list?
So I went Grand Army Brett. So I went Duke with Monster Slayer. I went Heroism build. So he's got Paymaster's Coin for a 1-turn reroll on his hits. Syrian's Locket for no multi-wounds. And Gromwell Greathelm, extra bit of armor and reroll ones. That was my only character. Then I went 8 Knights of the Realm with full command, move through cover, and War Banner. 11 Peasant Bowmen, because I could squeeze the 11th one in with Skirmish, and 4 Pegasus Knights with a champion and a banner who had the Rampaging Standard reroll charges. That was, I think, 998 points or something.
And I went dwarves, so I went Grand Army. I had the King on Shield Bearers with the Master Rune of Smiting, so the D6 wounds, and the 2-up armor save rune. And then I had a engineer who was Burlock, the special character. So he was good fun. And then I had originally I had an illegal list because we assumed that it was because it was an allied army alongside the main army. Well, we didn't even really think about that too much, but we just presumed that it would be 3 drops across the army as a whole. Whereas, I quickly got told it was 3 drops per allied army. So I originally didn't have the 3 drops. I had to separate my army out, which actually made it better. But originally I had a block of like 20 Thunderers with all the gubbins. And then a grudge thrower, a cannon, and an organ gun. And then that block of Thunderers eventually got split out into 2 blocks of 5 and then a block of 11, I think it was, which actually made it significantly better because the first game only like the front 4 models were shooting anyway, so I actually got more shots out of it.
I get what you mean now. Is that because you had to have 3 normal units aside characters? Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
So first game we came into this list, which was High Elves, and Cathay. So yeah, straight in the deep end. But thankfully there was no balloon in this Cathay army. It was the Sentinel that had the magic. This one.
Yeah,
yeah. Jade? Is it Jade one?
Jade.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there was two cannons, the Shigengan, a couple of small blocks of 5 infantry, and some and a unit of cav, and they were paired with some silver helms, a big block of sword masters, some archers, a level 4 wizard, and a horse.
And a noble as well. Yeah,
a noble that went in with the silver helms. Yeah. But they were very nicely painted. They both had these sort of like wooden decking.
I was going to say the bases look incredible.
theme bases, so they're very, very cool. And we were playing the doubles missions out the match play guide. And the first game was, I can't remember what it's called, but it's effectively there's like 2 narrow strips in the middle of the board where there's 2 primary armies deploy with like touching each other. So there's 2 12-inch deployment zones like touching, so you can be literally a millimeter away from each other on deployment, and then the reserves come in from the opposite side behind the primary army, behind the opposite primary armies. So so we had Scott and these High Elves set up initially in the center of the board, with me coming on as support behind.
Your little 3 inches.
behind the High Elves. Cathay came on behind the Brett. So there was a special rule where you could drop your artillery. The secondary army could drop artillery in the initial deployment zone. So my artillery got dropped as did the Cathayan artillery. And we had. Yeah, we looked at the deployment and it was looking a bit scary, really, for Scott. There was a lot of stuff that had a very, everything was in charge range because it was just next to it.
Particularly because my lance of Knights of the Realm is basically 12 inches long. So even touching the back of the deployment zone, I was about 2 inches from the sword masters.
I'm assuming with that you can deploy up to an inch away. I'm guessing, essentially.
No, you can close.
You can't deploy in combat though, surely.
No, well, no, you just be a millimeter. You'd be an inch away, I guess, because you got the inch rule. But yeah, like the deployment zones are touching. So
that one confused me a little bit because we've got a doubles event coming up in October, and I was like, how does this even work? Because there's no actual explanation about the reserves either, is it? It just says reserve units, and you're like, well, what's a reserve unit?
Yeah, you can just come on like any turn that you want. It's very.
Is that why they did the main and then the like allied list? The allied list were obviously going to be reserves.
Yeah. Effectively, it just separates between the primary and secondary. And it has some different a bit. So like the primary generals are worth the 100 points, secondaries are only worth 50. There's a few other little sort of tweaks to the differences, but so we deployed, and it came to the decision as to how we decided to decide how the game started. So I'll let Scott cover that.
Yeah, so we finished deploying first. Obviously, traditionally that wouldn't really matter for the Bretts, but we made the bold call, and I made the bold call to not pray. And just hope I rolled well enough on the roll to go first. And I did. So we did end up going first, and that basically won us the game. I think it's fair to say if they'd have gone first, they'd have probably wiped out all of the Bretonians. Maybe not the Duke, but he'd have probably been the only thing that's left. As it was, we got first turn. The High Elf Archmage was next to the unit of Swordmasters, so the Duke just charged the Archmage and killed him turn 1. The Knights of the Realm charged the Archers, who fled, I think, but it got the sort of Knights of the Realm mostly out of the way of the Swordmasters. They could still see them, so they did end up charging them. But the Pegasus Knights went into the Silver Helms, killed a couple of them, pushed them back, and then killed them, or routed them, I think, on the High Elf turn 1. Jack moved up and did nothing on our turn 1 match.
I think my artillery probably did nothing.
No, I think your artillery did like a wound to a Cathayan cannon.
Yeah, we got very lucky with their artillery on their turn 1. I think because my artillery was set up on the hill in the middle. He tried shooting with his cannon and basically just bounced into the hill. He double shot the first one that bounced into the hill twice. The second one tried to take out a Scots Duke that was basically like 2 inches in front of it. I think it was about 3 inches in front of it. He rolled a 2 and then a misfire and then a misfire. So we got I took like a wound off him with the second. So we got very lucky in terms of the shooting. But then, yeah, I think from the sounds of it across the hall, it wasn't a very well received mission. It was effectively who went first won.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to put it in my doubles pack because of
because even Scott's Brett's, you're too close to countercharge, even anything that sort of stuff. It was
I think in combat, aren't you, at that point?
Yeah, it was but even if you deployed 12 inches back, the front unit's probably still only 6 inches from the front of the line for a lot of stuff. And I think it just made for some very feel bad moments as one side just got pulverized off the bat. And then it was effectively 1,000 points support coming on against 2,000 points of army. So we Scott ran morale through them while my Thunderers came onto the board. Killed a few high elves with shooting from afar, while Scott's Duke went around monster slaying things.
Yeah, he had a great game 1. He charged the Shigengan, didn't monster slayer it the first round, but did win combat. Overran into the Sentinel, which he then killed in the following round of combat with a monster slayer, and then charged into the Shigengan and then monster slayed that. So he had a lovely first game to wake him up for the weekend.
Yeah. So the highlight of this game. So we were also playing the secret objective missions. So they printed off some very nice cards, which are sort of in the same sort of format as the Magic cards. So they were very nice. So we chose this one because we thought we'd get out of the way, given that we had no Magic. We decided to go for the fated dispel one. So every time you got a fated dispel successfully stopping an enemy spell, you got 50 points. And I just went on a rampage of rolling double sixes for our fated dispel every turn. So we managed to successfully get that one off and got quite a few points in the bag for that one. So that was quite nice.
Yeah, I think you got every time fated dispels out of 4. I think you got one of them, which is ridiculous.
Liam, I think your Wolves of the Seed enjoy that mission because you
probably
have control of whether you can go first almost.
That's been a prime before, so which means they can't ally with anything else.
Yeah,
you could go ally with a Grand Army Warriors.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was game 1. So we had a big 6-0 win from game 1 as Scott just killed everything and my dwarves just watched from afar largely, which became the story of the weekend. To be honest,
if you had bigger legs,
day 1, wasn't it?
If you had bigger legs, you'd be fine. You could get up there. Who said Cafe was broken, mate? They just got banged out.
Oh, you've got one picture of some of your army, Jack.
Oh yeah, there's my Thunderers pre. So Matt, who we're playing against there, with just about them was going, that's an illegal list, and so very quickly you had to split those that big unit apart. So this was the mission where we sort of had enveloping deployment. So it was 18 up and 18 in on the edges, and then 12 up.
2 C's, isn't it, either side?
Yeah. And we came up against Matt and Fraser, who I've played quite a few times now at various events. And they were running double Chaos, double Lord on Dragon.
Yeah.
Grand Army and Heralds, I think, wasn't it?
Yes. So they had two 500 point on the dot Chaos Lords. And then I think Matt had some Nurgle Knights because he had to give them the mark to basically get up to the minimum core of the Herald, and a couple of Dragon Ogre Shartax, and then Fraser had another dragon. So Fraser's was the primary lord in this one. So Fraser had another dragon, a big block of warriors, and 2 more Shartax. So yeah, we basically went into this going, okay, well, if Scott needs to start swinging those 6s, otherwise it's going to be a rough game. So you can see sort of this is basically turn 1 deployment, and you can see sort of Scott's Duke in the bottom right corner with the 2 dragons sort of facing off in the far end. Scott, over to you.
Yeah, so like Jack said, I sort of put the Duke quite central to be able to get to the dragons wherever they put them. As it turned out, they fancied the fight with my Duke, so they charged both of their dragons into the Duke on their turn.
So we prayed. They moved their dragons up a little bit to give Scott like a maximum charge on his Duke. Yeah. And for the first of many times of the weekend, he failed the charge miraculously, and basically stumbled like 6 inches in front of them, just like, oh no.
So then their turn 2, they both charged my Duke. Some other stuff happened, which, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, Jack shooting was appalling this entire game. His entire 1,000 points shot for 5 turns and killed a Dragon Ogre. Just one.
And I had another one down to 1 wound.
Last turn.
So they did a total of like 58 points.
Yeah.
Well done, Jack. So you pulling your weight, mate.
But yeah, so the Duke challenged their non-main general first. I think it was.
No, I think you killed you killed Matt's off first, didn't you?
Yeah. So challenged the dragon, rolled the 6, failed the ward save, 1 dragon down. The other dragon, I think, just fell back in good order. Then followed up into the dragon, didn't kill him in that round. Took a few wounds back, and then the following round of combat got the 6 on that dragon as well.
Yeah, when you were on 1 wound left, like
I was on a single wound at that point, and rolled the cheeky 6 and failed the ward save, and 1,000 points from the Duke. And unsurprisingly, he did not get involved in any combats after that until I got 6 happy, I'm going to say, and was like, I can deal with like 5 Noble Chaos Knights. I cannot deal with 5 Noble Chaos Knights on a win. Charged into them. They countercharged. They killed me. They declined the challenge with their champion, and I killed like 1, I think, maybe 2, and then the other like 3 just stabbed me to death. So I gave up like 500 points there. But
after your Pegasus had a great combat the turn before.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. I literally said to Jack, if I charge something in the rear and lose, I deserve to die. They charged the Chaos Knights in the rear, lost, and died.
Yes, you do.
They hadn't done like anything though, I don't think, had they, the Pegasus Knights, that entire game. They'd just flown.
They circled around the back.
Yeah.
Charged the Knights, died.
Did rubbish. Yeah.
My dwarves.
Duke got 1,000 points. So.
I saved 1,000 points for us, so that was good. So I think we had a good win. I think it's...
Right, go on. You talk, and then I'll talk after.
We won.
Yeah. Something just really triggering me about this, and I think I already know the answer. Is that a 2D hill?
No. So they have the 3D print. They have the 3D GW hills, and then underneath them they basically had these pieces of paper that was the hill, so you could take the hill off.
Yeah.
But the issue with these it was just some very shiny paper that as soon as you breathed near it, the paper moved. So you'd put your elbow on it and the hill would move 3 inches. It would just slide across the mat. So it was really hard to actually every time you tried to interact with it, it just span around 75 degrees, and it was a bit of a pain in the ass. So usually I've used ones where it was just a bit more sort of mouse mat material, neoprene, and they're quite, they've got enough grip on the other mat to sort of stay still, whereas these are just slipping and sliding all over the place. So the thought behind them was good. The practicality was not good.
Yeah, they just need to neoprene them, don't they, really?
or a little bit of double-sided sticky tape.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Because they're not going to move all weekend, are they? So
No.
yeah, I was looking. I was like, oh no, they've not gone down the 2D terrain, 2D War Machine terrain.
Yeah.
No. So they had them under the hills and under some of the trees.
Yeah, the trees make sense, don't they? I think, but a lot of theirs, because I think a lot of theirs are
Glued onto the
trees are stuck in, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Do you know what I think you'd have been better off taking, Jack? Your wood elves.
Maybe.
At least you could have got into range to shoot stuff.
I was in range. I just couldn't hit. Every time. Literally, my organ gun all weekend, it would be 4 misfire. So I'd be having 4 shots at -1 to hit, and I'd be hitting on 7s most of the time because they're hiding in the woods or something.
Well, you take wood elves, you're hitting mostly 4s and 5s.
Or I could take Tomb Kings, just hit on 4s and 5s all the time.
Yeah, or do that, but you could have done that.
Well, yeah, but Scott wanted us to take friendly forces of fantasy, so the dwarves would, I think, well, I could have taken, wood elves and dwarves were my only sort of options, and
are they not? I think they're good allies as well, aren't they? Wood elves and Bretonnia, or the.
It depends what way round you do it. If you have the wood elves as the main force, they're good, but if you have the Bretts as the main force, I think they're uneasy, which is like the mid-level.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because Bretts don't actually trust anyone, as it turns out.
But yeah, so I think it finished at 4-2 or a 5-1.
Yeah, I think it was 4-2.
I think I think Scott gave too many points away from his Duke die. So game 3. So we were going into the last game of the day. We're undefeated. We were feeling good. We were ready to face some foes to smite, and then Cathay again, and with a balloon this time.
Yeah,
with a balloon this time. So I actually got some pictures of deployment this time, so that's nice. So this was
game.
So this was the diagonal deployment, with a special feature in the middle. So
and 4 strategic objectives.
Ooh.
4, no, this. Yes, it looks like it from those.
Yeah, it looks like 4. Yeah, because you wouldn't have them.
Those two spots.
Yeah.
So it's, 4 objectives. So I deployed my gun line and you can see now I've split up those little Thunder units off the edge who became really good just chaff, and just we didn't want. So I think he had some ambush. So the Cathay army had the balloon, another Shigengan, I assume, some cannons, and it had some ambushing cavalry. So my small blocks of dwarfs suddenly became very useful for blocking off bits of the board, to stop anything ambushing behind us, and to stop any balloons sort of dropping in any gaps. And then sort of spread my artillery across the line just to get some good firing arcs. And Scott's sort of Pegasus started up in that top corner to just block a bit more of the board off, and then sort of moved across. And then so the other ally for the Cathay was Bretonnians. As you can see, there's a couple of lances of sort of normal knights. There's these questing knights down in the bottom left. And I think there's a what did they have character-wise?
They had a duke in one of the Knights of the Realm.
And a paladin in the other one.
And then a paladin in the other one, yeah.
And then there's a sort of a brick of infantry up in the top right that you can see that sort of basically went towards the objective and contested that. So I think we prayed on this game. Yep. Prayed on this game. So they got turn 1. The balloon basically deployed on the hill. And so Burlock allows a unit quarrelers to entrench and an artillery piece as well. So I entrenched the cannon, which came into some play. So the balloon basically started there, flew over this little block of Thunderers, obliterated them to death, No, I think it took him down to one guy who continued to then spend the rest of the game running along the board edge.
Yeah.
I don't think he actually ever made it to the board edge.
No.
His legs were feeling very tired. So that, yeah, and then everything else basically just pushed forward. We basically had a bit of an artillery off. He was trying to blast my artillery. Didn't really have huge amounts of success. Scott's knights got obliterated in the middle of the board by the other two units. And
I got the charge on the first one. It's rubbish. I charged in, and I only lost one to the Duke, who had the ogre blade. So I was like, okay, doing all right. And I think he only counter-charged 2, so my knights were going before his knights. And I killed 1 knight with like 7 knights of the realm. I was like, okay, brilliant. And then, lost like 2 more to the knights' attacks. Gave ground, I think. But then the other lance charged in, and it was very bad. For my knights of the realm, they all died by turn 2, I think.
Yeah. So the balloon, after destroying that little block of thunder, it charged the cannon, and the cannon held it in combat for 4 or 5 turns.
4 rounds of combat,
4 rounds of combat, as he kept whiffing and I kept whiffing, and he'd eventually get a wound through. I'd do a wound back, and we just kept drawing for like 4 rounds of combat. So that was a massive help for us as it locked this sort of balloon in place, which otherwise would have sort of just ran through the rest of the army.
Why did he not flee with it?
Because he drew.
Very true. Okay.
You can't disengage if you draw, so it's the worst result for him, and he just kept being like, oh, I just want to lose, but eventually he managed to whittle the couple of wounds I had down. But it was a heroic showing from the cannon, which sort of gave us enough time to get Scott's Duke out and start killing some things.
To be fair, your artillery did very well in the last turn or 2, like mopping things up.
Yeah, so the Quested Knights sort of got stuck behind the balloon. They were sort of running behind the balloon, ready to sort of take way when that had sort of plowed through the cannon, but they basically just got stuck behind it for a couple of turns. My artillery just sort of went to town and just started popping knights, and I think I got the cannon, and it was fairly balanced with the objectives. They were scoring quite well on the objectives. We basically just had one objective, whereas they had 2 or 3 for most of the game. That was a bit rough. I think they captured the centerpiece as well, so that was 200 points. I think the end game was they won by about 200 points, so it ended up as a draw. So they didn't win; they beat us by 200 points, so it ended up as a draw, which I felt was very fortunate.
I think we got our secret objective as well, and they didn't.
Yeah.
And
so
ours was 50 points or something.
Yeah, I can't remember which one we chose, but it was
I think we went with kill all the monsters because they only had 1, which was the Shugengan.
Yes, yeah. So we managed to get a relatively straightforward one there. The Duke did his work early on, and then so we ended up a draw, which was very fortunate. I think if that balloon had not got stuck up in combat, I think he definitely would have whittled away my Thunderer block, which sort of had just enough in towards the end of the game to sort of keep its points.
Or even just kill another artillery piece.
Yeah.
Like that alone would have been enough.
Yeah, so there's quite a nice bit at the end where basically his Bretonnian, his 2 sort of lances were sort of charging the front of my Thunderers, who had sort of rotated to face towards us in that right picture. The ambushing Cathay horsemen had sort of come in from the back and sort of rear charged me. I'd already brushed off the Bretonnians in 1 round of combat, and the organ gun there you can see just sort of obliterated the paladin and like 2 or 3 other knights that were just sort of stood next to him from close range. It just absolutely sort of ripped them apart.
I think he got like 18 shots or something that turn.
Yeah, I think it was the only time I rolled as a decent all tournament, and it just absolutely ripped apart this unit. And then the Duke basically charged in, got challenged out by my king, and they sort of just whiffed off each other. But I had enough combat res in there to sort of beat off those units, and just sort of had this last hurrah as we sort of were triumphant, well, semi-triumphant as we held the draw. So it was a good game. It was a fun game. It would have been less fun if the balloon had been running around.
Yes.
Well, yeah, we've not got stuck.
So we finished day 1 on 2 wins and a draw. So we were very happy with that, and went into day 2 hoping to go undefeated potentially if we could. But obviously by now we were getting towards the sort of top ends of the tables, with other people who were sort of also in a similar position. So we had Dan and Robin first game. Game 4. So I spoke about Dan's Brett's a couple of weeks ago when I gave him a beat down with my demons at the event. Liam smashed us all that. So I've played Dan now a few times. I played Robin at the last Throne of Skulls, the sort of singles one, with his dwarves. So there were some familiar faces, and we knew they were good players. So
mirror match by the looks of it as well.
Pardon?
Looks like a decent mirror match as well.
Yes, so we had the Bretonnian and dwarf mirror match, except the dwarves were probably in a better sort of state than my dwarves. He had a sort of block of rangers, 4 gyrocopters, 2 with steam guns, 2 with clatter guns, a decent sized block of warriors with a runesmith in, and the horrible gun thane that just shoots and does about 1,000 million shots a turn. And then
he's called.
Pardon?
Beardy Harry, I believe he's called.
Yeah, Beardy Harry. And then Dan had a big unit of Grail Knights. So they had gone the opposite way round for the sort of partnership. So he'd gone as the secondary. So he basically made his list so that he didn't care about not having wards. So obviously the sort of Grail Knights come with a built-in one. So
they get the wards even if you don't pray. So Dan wasn't worried about not being able to pray. It was only like the 6 Knights of the Realm that weren't getting it.
So he
Quite
had
clever, really.
But then
It's quite a clever way of doing it.
Yeah. So Scott had thought about that when we went into it. He said, "I don't know if to take the Grail Knights and do that, or go be filthy and take the Pegasus Knights."
It's the Grail Vow, isn't it? That gives them the 5-up ward all the time, anyway.
And then he had a small little lance behind them, a decent sized block of men at arms, another small sort of lance, and then a sort of almost mirror match Duke, but he had the ogre blade rather than the sort of killing blow
ogre blade build, rather than the monster slayer build.
And turn 1.
Yeah, so I did pray, I think. Did I not pray?
No, we decided not to.
Yeah, that's it. We decided not to pray. And the Knights of the Realm charged a gyrocopter, I think, which fled, I want to say.
Yeah, so there's a gyrocopter effectively where his peg knights are now. And obviously you can see Dan had put his Duke basically just opposite them, and on this map it was the diagonal map again, and on this map they were like 12 inches apart or something like that. So so Scott knew that if they got turn 1, his Duke was going to charge into the pegs and wipe them out turn 1. So that's why we decided not to pray. He charged, Scott charged a gyrocopter there. It fled, but it only fled 3 inches. So Scott caught it and then got stuck there, where you can see that the Duke has still got a nice view of the sort of the side of the peg knight. So it wasn't ideal. If it rolled like an average sort of flea, he would probably got hidden behind the building. So he went there. Scott's Duke, you can see, sort of just I think he had initially tried to charge.
He tried to charge the Rangers.
The Rangers, yeah.
And he was like 15 away, 16 away. He's fly 10 and rolled 2 2s on his charge dice and a 1 on his swift strike. So he stumbled forwards 3 inches, classic. Knights of the Realm charged the gyro and they killed it and then reformed and restrained. Because I was expecting to get charged by Grail Knights. I'd have been too close to. No, I could have countercharged, but even if I had the Grail Knights first, so they're just going to kill me. So I was expecting to just flee from them when they charged me. Then their turn 1, Grail Knights charge, and I did flee, but fled like nowhere basically, and he caught me. Duke charged into the pegs, killed the champion in the challenge, and the pegs fled, I think. So they fled sort of back across the centre. The men-at-arms and the Knights of the Realm stayed back pretty much the whole game. Again, that sort of special objective or special feature in the middle, they were controlling that the whole game. We didn't even get close, did we? So that was sort of just points there, almost guaranteed. You did have a very nice cannon shot turn 1, though, I think. Yeah,
turn 1. There's a gyrocopter sort of sat in between the Pegasus Knights and that other gyrocopter there. So at that point, I was thinking, if the Duke charges those Pegasuses and Scott chooses to flee, that gyrocopter would sort of chase him down quite easily. So I was like, okay, I know I need to take out that. So I put a cannon through that, and it was online into the Dwarf Warriors. So in the front left of those Dwarf Warriors, the Runesmith was sat. So bounced through the gyrocopter, killed that, and the sort of bounce went through the Runesmith. So sort of looked at Rob and went, "Come on, roll your lookout, sir. Don't roll a 1." And obviously he rolled a 1. And then I just blew this Runesmith to oblivion turn 1 as well. So that was quite nice. Thankfully, they weren't too reliant on dispelling all magic that game, so it wasn't the end of the world for him. But it was just nice to finally, after having spent a few games of me just being like, "Oh, I got a Dragon Ogre." It's nice to sort of pick something off early, and I thought, this game's going to go well. I unloaded all my shooting into Dan's Duke after sort of he followed on from chasing these Peg Knights. Got him down to 1 wound, so I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, this is looking good." Sort of left him in a nice place for Scott to go in and finish off, and then Scott failed another charge. Yep.
That needed like a 6 again. Not a massive charge, just rolled awful again. I think my Duke failed 3 charges, needing less than a 7 on each one.
That's not good going.
It wasn't ideal.
I mean, over 5 games, it's bound to happen in everyone.
But they were always like the really important charges.
The one that you actually need and willing it to happen. And it's like, nah, I don't fancy it today, lads.
So at that point, the 1 point Duke then proceeded to chew through my army. Pretty much, he sort of, I think Scott's Duke got tied up by the Grail Knights for like 5 turns of combat because they were just like challenge, and Scott's Duke just couldn't do more than 1 wound effectively each turn, so he kept losing and get pushed back. I think Dan's Duke then chewed through a couple of the smaller units of my stuff, some of the artillery. I got quite into the habit of fleeing with my artillery, so I've learned from Liam, and it was quite handy just sort of pulling him out of positions, or if he was going for a max charge, I'd suddenly just flee, and then he'd have to redirect into something else or flounder. So eventually his Duke ended up in combat with my big-ish quarrel block with my King in, alongside the sort of one of the small lances, or the last couple of Grail Knights. I can't remember which.
Yeah, I think it's 2 Grail Knights. Yeah,
that's 2 Grail Knights. So I issued a challenge, and he accepted with one of the Grail Knights with my King. So I was like, okay, that's stupid. That's some easy combat res for me. I'm just going to absolutely obliterate these. And then I rolled my hits and hit once, and then rolled my wound and rolled a 1 to wound. I was like, oh, okay, great. So he beat me in combat, and sort of proceeded and chewed through like half a dozen of my thunderers with his ogre blade. Pushed me back. I used my sort of I think I just rolled a fall back in good order, or a give ground, and sort of fell back, and then it came up. He followed sort of in with his duke. I challenged him out with my king at that point, and he had 1 wound remaining from all the shooting I'd done. I was still on full wounds, so I was like, okay, I'll probably survive. I think he got 3 wounds through from me, and I was like, okay, this is it. The duke's going down. Again, rolled my hits, hit once, rolled my wound, 1 to wound. And I was like, okay, great. And then he proceeded to basically chew through the rest of the unit, beat me, pushed me back again, and we did it again. Except he just killed me this time, and I had sort of 2 quarrelers left in the unit, just like, oh no. Lost massively. Effectively, I was gonna run. The Duke would then run off the other side of the hill, so Scott's Duke couldn't see it because he was on the other side of the hill at that point. But then the 2 Thunderers were like, "No, we're going to stand." Rolled a double 1 in the break test, and pinned Dan's Duke in place, which allowed Scott's Duke just to come up in the rear, finish him off, and grab us a few points back at least.
Yeah. And I was only like 9 inches away, so I physically couldn't foul that.
Couldn't foul that one, didn't you? So yeah, it was a pretty rough defeat. I think that was a 5-1 loss. That one. Yeah, 5-1 loss. We just didn't have really anything to deal with what they were throwing at us. The Duke sort of surviving on that 1 wound was pretty pivotal. And just sort of proceeded to run through the army. They got sort of more of the objective points than we did. Mm-hmm. I think we got the kill the we got kill the general because we got the Duke tag. Yeah. So it was rough loss. So we went into game 5. We dropped down a bit, and we're going into game 5. 2 wins, a draw, and a loss. And once again, Cathay.
Is that not the? Hold on.
Is that the second game? Have I put the wrong one in there?
Yeah, the bottom left photo is from the last game, I think.
God damn it, Liam! You had 1 job.
Well, if you sent me the pictures in order, it wouldn't be a problem.
God damn it, Jack! You had 1 job.
Yeah. So the bottom left is there's a.
Quickly doing this.
Yeah, got that one up. So this was a Cathay and
Empire. Cathay and
Empire. Empire list. We had a big block of Demigryph Knights. Yeah. So there's 4 Demigryph Knights in the Empire army. A big block of State Troopers. A cannon. A Hell Blaster volley gun. A wizard on a Pegasus. Mm-hmm. And then a couple of units of skirmishy archer type boys. And then Cathay had a Shigengan, the Sentinel, who had
Oaken Shield.
He's another magic one. He had Oaken Shield. Some Lancers, and a block of infantry. And a cannon.
It was 1 cannon, wasn't it?
1 cannon, which was on the hill, yeah. So again, this was the sort of enveloping 2 Cs. So I sort of deployed on the left opposite the Hellblaster and the block of Cathayan troops. And also they put the sort of two big characters on that side as well. He had his Demigryphs across the middle, opposite my 2 sort of small 5-man units of dwarfs. and then on the right flank, Scott sort of lined up against the bulk of the enemy force, who were sort of centered around the hill. So again, did you pray on this one?
Yeah, I think I did pray on this one, because he was too far away to charge any of my stuff, because he'd put his cavalry either in the middle, which is much further, it's like 24 inches away, or the lancers, which I think he put on a flank, were just too far away to charge the pegs. So I think I did pray on this one.
Yeah.
They killed one peg with a cannon, I think, turn one.
No, he killed two pegs off. You'd sort of line them up in a way where he could go through two of them. So he killed two pegs off straight away, and sort of tried to shoot through. I think the cannon sort of came across the board towards your Duke, and through my dwarves. Didn't really get anything through.
Wounded the organ gun, or wounded your cannon or something.
Yeah, so I think he took a wound off my cannon, who was sort of behind the Duke, because he sort of bounced over him and through. It took a few of Scott's pegs off, and then we sort of basically Scott pushed up. Basically, his pegs went from the sort of back right of that photo up to where the glass of Pepsi is, sort of along the flank of the hill, just outside of sort of charge arcs of everything, but in basically close enough to charge the sort of Cathay cannon, which was where the dice are, the dice block. On my side, I think your Duke moved in to basically threaten the Shigengan and the Pegasus wizard, who were just outside of charge range, but you just basically went, right, I'm going to sit in between you, and you're going to have to, deal with me.
Sentinel was in the middle as well, wasn't it? And he'd moved right up into the center of the board. So the Duke went about 8 inches between the Sentinel and the Shigengan and went, well, I'm charging one of you.
And they'd gone really heavy on sort of magic missiles, so they had a couple of castings of the summoning, and Ruby Ring, and so they've gone quite heavy on magic, but we sort of, they just didn't really get a lot off. So Scott basically got free reign into those two characters, although made it hard work.
My Duke had rolled too many sixes day one. He was tired. Okay.
Yeah. So first day, any monster slayers, all ward saves were failed. Whereas I think this game about 4 ward saves were passed against monster slayer. So he just kept. Then eventually, in the end, he just went okay and just hit all 5 of his attacks, wounded all 5 of them, and just got 5 wounds straight through with just his normal attacks. I put a nice cannon shot through the side of the demigriffs and took out 2 of the 4 demigriffs, sort of turn 1 as he pushed them up. My Thunderers then basically held them up for like 2 or 3 turns as he charged into them, and I was just like, okay, well, I'm going to use my shield, and he just didn't put any wounds through, or like killed like 1 dwarf, and I did a wound or 2 back, and we just drew for a few rounds. So those 5 Thunderers died bravely and held those basically out of combat for the game. Scott's Pegasus sort of went round the back, went through the cannon, some skirmishes, and ended up in combat with the wizard on the Pegasus. Eventually, as he'd sort of fled away from Scott's Duke on the other side, I whittled away the Cathayan block of state infantry, what are they called? And this was again this was a 3 objectives along the middle, so we held 2 objectives for the whole game, effectively, and scored like 600 points of objectives to their 100 points. So we were we knew we were really far ahead on the objectives, so we were quite happy on there, and basically just had to sort of trade units for units to sort of keep the win. Obviously Scott got the sort of characters. I took out a block of infantry and the artillery on my side. Scott picked a few things around the middle, around the back on their side. So they had the Sentinel left, who just basically had a 5-up ward save all game. So I didn't really want to bother invest in trying to shoot into him, because there was better targets to be had for most of the game. They had the sort of infantry had battered Scott's lance off the board. He sort of wheedled through gaps a few times, but ran out of space, and then just got caught and sort of pushed off with combat res. So we didn't actually kill a huge amount, bar the characters. They still had their Empire troops. They had the Lancers. They had 2 of the demigriffs, and we basically just picked off all the support units. and finished with 5-1 or 4-2.
I think it was a 5-1, that one.
5-1, yeah. So we finished off, I think it was 11th overall in sort of gaming scores. And then dropped down to about 20th after all the sort of best painting votes and being friendly votes, because Scott took filth and just ruined everyone's days with his Monster Slayer sword.
I think you'll find we were solidly mid-table in like 34th.
I think we dropped that far down.
Yeah.
We were like 24th.
So it was soft score incorporated then with final standings, like
So I think my dwarves being on, so my dwarves were on 20 mil bases, but with converters, so I don't think that did any help for getting the sort of painting awards. But no, we had a good weekend.
We did get one favourite army vote.
Yes.
We got 2 favourite opponents and 1 favourite army vote.
Yeah,
so that's something.
Yeah. But no, so yeah, it was a good event. There was some very nice armies on display. So Robin and Dan that we played game 4, they won the judges' choice for best painted army. So they I think they ended up finishing 4th overall, which was really good. John Dale got best. Did they get best painted or did they get second best painted?
They got second painted and second overall.
Second painted, second overall. So they had a good showing. And the event winners were some sort of orc and...
They were Goblin and Beastman combination.
Yeah, orc and Beastman combination.
It was a really soft list looking at it as well. So they obviously
got a lot best.
picked up like 4 sets of painting and 5 sets of opponents or something like that.
Yeah,
they did it
as
in the
well
right
as
way.
winning a bunch of games. Yeah.
Yeah. So similar to the throne schools that we all went to. What was it now? Last Christmas time, something like that. The person who won that again sort of had got 2 wins, but picked up a lot of the sort of votes for sporting and painting and sort of jumped to the top. So I think it's just a nice one to work, to see different people winning an event who wouldn't might not necessarily have the sort of skill level to sort of win events where it's sort of competitive only, but we've got a beautiful army and a great attitude. So we had a great weekend.
Fantastic.
Scott survived 48 hours with me.
Just about.
I do fancy it next year. Just really annoying that I was away last weekend, so couldn't try and make it, but I do fancy it.
I don't fancy spending 48 hours with you, Liam, though.
I wasn't going to ask you, so it's fine.
Well, Jack's got Scott, so it's
I'm not sure I can put up with him for another weekend.
And Rob, isn't it? So.
Sure, and Rob's raring to make a reappearance.
Do you know what? It would be funny though, like me and Liam as a team, because I just think I'd annoy Liam all weekend.
You would. You can't move them there.
To do. Like, Liam, I'm charging that unit. Don't do it. I'm doing it. Let's go. Yeah,
it was interesting to see the dynamic across some teams. Some teams were very much like there's like one dominant player, whereas others were just like doing their own thing, and you could just see the player going, "What have you done?" So
that's exactly what we'd be like, I think.
Like, my lad will be 10 next year, and if I just let him take the balloons and roll dice, I can make that work.
You're gonna trust him to move them?
No, I said he can roll a dice.
Yeah, can't touch the models. But no, there was a team there that was sort of a dad and a relatively young son. He looked sort of probably about 10ish or so. But yeah, no, it was a good fun event, and look forward to next year.
Good.
I'm hoping they put a few more on, because I've missed going to GW events, and a lot of the time you can't get the tickets for them as well, which is.
No, I've got a ticket to one of the one-dayer ones in October or November.
Yes, middle of November. It's on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Which is like the most difficult day for me to attend.
Oh, what a shame.
But I am
it's not too bad
trying to juggle it.
We'd
Probably
probably
wait this now.
we have to cancel our club. That's the only problem for the night if we went. I don't mind going to the weekend midweek ones though. They're a good laugh.
Yeah, it seems to be a bit more chill.
What points is it? 1250.
I presume so. Yeah.
They're usually like 1250, 1,000, aren't they?
Yeah, I might be able to get my Tomb Kings ready for that.
Yeah,
If you
Yeah,
take
your
those,
skeletons to go.
yeah. So overall, then, guys, class as usual, or anything different? Anything you change?
I dropped that first mission that we played.
Yeah.
I don't think it. Yeah,
Make it
I don't think it
event.
added enough to the event to counter the sort of feel bad for whichever team didn't get turn one.
Because that type of mission is actually Middle Earth. I think it's called Clash of Champions, where you deploy your hero and then the guys around them within like 3 inches of each other or 6 inches of each other or something like that. And it's just that's the game. It's just
yeah. I think maybe if there was a 12-inch gap in between the two teams in the middle, maybe that would sort of just soften it a little bit. But as it was, like, or just have it so you can't charge turn one, like as if you've sort of vanguarded or something like that. But yeah, as it was, it's just and even then it'd still be whoever got first turn would just charge in turn two probably.
It's strange because you've still got that, like you say, you've still got your reserve units to come on from, but like with you, obviously with dwarves, unless you had shooting, you're not in the game.
No,
are you? If you've got something so slow, or even like I don't know if they were Tomb Kings, for instance. If you had Tomb Kings, you're not in the fight, are you? So
no, so I think obviously. Yeah, I think other teams thought a bit harder. I actually looked at the missions when they planned their armies and stuff. So, like Robin and Dan, they'd gone the other way around. So the dwarves were sat in the middle, and the sort of Bretonians could come on and sort of catch up relatively quickly. Whereas obviously we had our fast army sort of in the middle, and the slow army just having no effect on the game. Yeah, but no, I think the rest of the missions were good. The idea of it all was good. It's just that sort of one mission which just took a bit off the weekend.
Yeah, and although they played two of the missions twice, they swapped the secondary objectives, so
it felt a bit fresher.
Yeah, it just felt a little bit different.
3 missions, isn't they, in the doubles? In the match play guide. Yeah. Well, technically 2 if you're going to take the first one out.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting if like they made an arcane journal. They've usually got the missions in them.
Yeah.
They did an arcane journal with the doubles mission in that they could sort of bring in to swap out for that sort of first one, or something just a little bit different to swap that out going forward if they do doubles again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure obviously with the feedback and stuff, they always take everything on board, the events team, don't they? So I know Liam knows them quite well as well. So I know they always take the feedback on board. So hopefully everyone, like you say, has actually given them actual feedback with the forums as well, not just by word of mouth. I think when you've got something like that, what's probably very unpopular, let's say.
Yeah, I think it's similar to like the main mission book scenario where if you roll a 1, your unit doesn't come on, and those sort of ones. Yeah,
breakpoint is just kill everything. Cool. Amazing. I miss it, me. I genuinely do miss going to GW events. It's obviously
don't need to miss it. You would have gone.
Huh?
Don't need to miss it. Just go.
Just go. I can't just go, can I?
Just go.
Football season started now, so
well, you're probably better going to Warhammer
not in Sheffield.
Not in
Sheffield at the minute. Yeah, I know.
They've still not kicked off, have they?
Yeah, I mean they've signed a completely new team, so who knows? I might just not bother for the next month or so. So, but no, good to hear. Have they changed? I know they've changed the tables, but have they changed the layout of the main gaming hall now as well?
Not
all the feature tables are all down.
Yeah, layout. The feature tables are on the far end, but they've been like that for ages.
Yeah.
So the main
down there, didn't they, as well?
Yeah, so the main gaming area is like 10 rows of 6 or 8 tables or whatever. So that it didn't feel like it changed massively or noticeably.
Okay, have they put more tables in with the change of tables, or?
I don't think so.
No.
I think it's just been a straight sort of swap out. They've got some newer stools which are about 12 inches higher than the old ones. So you can sort of sit on them, but your knees just don't fit under the table.
Yeah, because of that shelf there.
Yeah.
I know a few people had mentioned that. Yeah,
but yeah, overall it was good improvements all around.
Good. I like the food from there as well. To be fair, the food's great.
I was really
interesting. The food choices. So I think I got a curry on the first day, but there was no rice supplied, so it was like curry with some boiled vegetables. So that was like the side with a really greasy poppadom. So yeah, interesting food choices.
Good.
Scott had a sausage on a stick.
It's food, isn't it? And the day it's food.
Yeah.
I mean, Jack, you don't really eat food, but yeah, not real food anyway. I think the is it 50 tables, Liam, they've got in there, or they did have in there, wasn't it? Okay.
They've been more recently.
Yeah, well, there's 72 teams, so there's 36 tables taken up from that, and there was still a lot of there's still probably a full rank of tables behind us that was like 40k players, and then there was all the fancy tables behind them. So there's probably still another.
So about 100 mana. Yeah. Just because I'm going off like the GTs, I used to go to 40k. They were 120 people. So. But I don't think they had nowhere near as many feature tables as.
I think they've struggled to get that many in now, but
they had a slightly bigger gaming hall as well because the store didn't take up.
Of course,
the room.
Of course.
It's expanded twice, hasn't it? Now the store.
Yeah. Well, and where the feature tables are, there's that like
fenced off a bit, sort of.
Yeah, where they kind of just use it as storage, don't they? I think as well.
Yeah, all the fancy terrain seems to be in boxes behind there.
Right, been snooping, have you, Jack?
Yeah. When me and Liam went to play, and there's just no fancy terrain out anywhere in the hall. I was like looking around, like, oh yeah, there's a box. Let's have a look. What's in there?
Amazing. Right, have we got any other business? Scott, do you want to talk about your event you're running? I know you're doing it this weekend. Did you say?
Yeah. So on the what's the date? 7th of September. In Colchester Clash, they're called. So this is just a 1-dayer, 2,500 points, 3 missions. One of them is a made-up mission because the pack was put together before the match play guide. So decided I didn't want to change the pack too much after the match play guide came out. So we are using domination, but that's the only secondary from the match play guide. And then the sort of made-up mission is 3 objectives. Sort of 1 in your own deployment zone, 1 in the center of the board, 1 in your opponent's deployment zone, worth a varying amount of points. So yeah, that should be good. First event that I'm running that's 2,500. Had a few people say to me, like, really want to get up to bigger games. So I thought have a 1-dayer is a good sort of place to test it out, see if the want for it is there. At 40k gaming, which is helpfully around the corner from my house. So I haven't got to lug the scenery too far. So yeah, that should be good. Got 30 players, so good size event. And then early next year, I will be back to a 2-day GT in the Holiday Inn just outside Colchester. So looking at 40 players then, hopefully get up to there. Don't know whether it'll be 2K or 2.5 yet. That would sort of depend on the feedback from this weekend. But pack coming very soon. Hopefully.
Where can they find you?
You can find it on Facebook in basically any Facebook group. Any Warhammer Facebook group I will have posted. But yeah, it's Colchester Clash. If you look for that, you'll find it. It's actually, I have right next to me, which I'm going to very quickly get out. I've had some objectives printed off by our sponsor for the event, which look like, can you see that?
Oh, yes, there's a little dragon on.
Yeah, a little dragon emblem, which you will find on Facebook, but it's on all the packs. That's how you know it's me. But yeah, those will be the objective markers. And the last 2-day event, we had some nice little freebies for everyone. Little like rules tokens, so like to sort of remind you of things like first charge, stubborn, that sort of thing. So yeah, hoping to get something similar for the next event in March as well.
Widgets are always handy as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I get mine from our little channel sponsor, Scoff Corby, does all ours as well. So, yeah, I think they're great. Anything that can remind you, like the, especially when you've got prolonged stuff like what's the Warriors of Chaos one? Gaze of the Gods.
Yeah.
The amount of times I forgot stuff and then left my token. I'm
we had a lot of people
rolling it now. Yeah.
Sort of talking about Liam's Cathay dial at the weekend, and there's some people with some really cool Gaze of the Gods like boards that had like slots to put your dice in that you rolled, and the name is, but they were about this big, so they took about half the table to sort of pull it down. But there's plenty of cool 3D printed stuff out there to help support remember and stuff.
Scoffer's done me and Al one of those, where you've got a turn thing for how many characters you've got, and then obviously the dial Liam we've got, Scoffer did ours, didn't he, as well? So
yeah, love that.
Yeah, like that. It'll do us anyway. That's the little plug for him there. There you go. And then I'll just go. I've got my event as well on the Sunday. Not quite as big as yours. I've only got 14 players. I'm actually playing in it as well, just because I thought we can manage 14 players. Let's have a go. So me and Al are both playing in it. But it's only 12.50 and 4 games. We're just gonna speedball it and see how we get on. So 4 games over 1 day should be fine. That said, some of the lists are absolutely disgusting.
I was going to say, have you noticed a shift in sort of weight of factions change pre match play and post match play? Like, is there suddenly 20 times the amount more of X army, or is it still feel fairly balanced? Whereas people have not finished painting up the match play armies yet.
No, in mine, there's not too many.
Other than the cafe,
there's no cafe because I'm pretty sure I'm the only one that owns the cafe army in Sheffield for some reason. Because no, I've not seen anyone else play it yet.
Because you're a metagamer.
Like you said, like Liam said earlier, whether it's because people just haven't painted them yet. Might not paint about. Go and smash someone's head in with. So I'll just quickly run through what we've got. So we've got Beastmen, Dwarfs, High Elves, Chaos Dwarfs, High Elves, Warriors of Chaos, Mortuary Cults or Tomb Kings, Mortuary Cult, Tomb Kings, Vampire Counts, Empire of Man, Ogre Kingdoms, Empire of Man, and then High Elves. So
you've got 9 different factions of 14 players.
Yeah.
Not bad.
So not too bad.
Yeah.
Although our good friend Singe, Liam, his list is absolutely ridiculous.
So just a
Just
million
loads of
Noblars again.
Noblars. Yeah.
It's 1,000 Noblars. Kill me if you want. You're not going to do it, but let's go. So I think he's got a good chance of winning. I mean, I've generally just I'm just going to turn up and play list, so there's nothing in it. I was going to try and take 3 dragons, but I couldn't fit them in High Elves. But I could fit 2 in, but not 3.
But Scott, you noticed a change, Scott, or not really? Yeah.
I'd say there's less Bretts.
Yeah.
I guess they're not really that great at holding objectives, right? Unless you have a big block of men at arms, sort of, which are a cheap, they are a viable option. But I guess the lances have become less effective because they hit a unit of infantry and the infantry goes, "Oh, cool, okay." Well,
yeah,
I think that's the problem. I think they need to hit the infantry first just to get the first charge. If they have to charge something before that, then they've got no.
Yeah, there's some screeners that sort of break off that first charge.
Yeah, and only one cafe coming to the event on Sunday. It does have 2 balloons, but it's 2,500 points, so they've got to use something.
It's Liam, innit? I know it is. I know it's definitely Liam.
But no, also I'd say more Tomb Kings. Tomb Kings are already popular.
Yeah.
But I definitely have seen an uptick in
Tomb Kings and Vamps. I think be very popular.
Infantry. Yeah.
Yeah, they just stand there and hold objectives.
Yeah.
It's that simple as like kill me, but I'm just gonna keep resin back. And I think even if you kill the wizards, you've still got to kill the 40 blob of skeletons.
Yeah.
to stop them holding objectives, which, like you said, doesn't run away. So I think they're really good. I think Undead are very good at the mission side of the game, definitely. But that said, though, I mean, I played Skaven, didn't I, the other day, and I won purely on the mission because I had bodies on a domination mission. I got like 800 odd points just from the domination mission itself. I lost nearly all of my units apart from what was left, obviously in the quarters. But because I've got that many bodies, it's, again, it's very similar to Tomb Kings. Apart from it runs away very, very fast. the old Skaven do. Which none of that, all that's a complete lie because I don't play legacy armies, so because they're not real. Liam, have you froze? You froze in one of the weirdest.
No, he's just thinking.
ever.
He's just pondering.
I know. He's
I'm just
pondering.
thinking.
He's pondering.
No,
Right, we've got 5 minutes. Has anyone got anything else that they want to bring up? Anything they want to shout out? Anything they want to abuse Jack about?
nah, I think we're good for now. We've used him enough for one evening.
Yeah. Just a quick one from me. I guess what's next? Like after this, we've got the Cathay journal coming out. Then we've got potentially this Tomb King journal. Do we think we'll get any more teasers this year of more stuff to come, or do you think this is it now till next year?
My gut feeling is this will be it, because they don't release stuff in December, new stuff anyway, like we do Christmas boxes.
Yeah, Christmas.
And that only leaves us 2 months effectively.
Yeah.
With like chance for them to preview. We've still got one obviously this weekend, and then you say give it 6 to 8 weeks for the next one.
Yeah.
And then something again early after Christmas, maybe.
So you don't think we'll get a big massive teaser sort of around Christmas time of Kislev, or a nice snowy background with like a little cheeky horse like woo?
They always put up like a big preview video, don't they, on Christmas, either Christmas or Boxing Day, something around there. So my gut feeling is that's when we'll find out what we're getting next. But as for what that is, time will tell.
I've got something. I've just remembered it. We've missed one thing off the news and the release. From the old world, but a different game. The Blood Bowl, the new Blood Bowl set. It's got the Tomb Kings in it, and they look incredible as well.
That's cool. Yeah, it was cool.
They do look nice.
Yeah. I will buy that.
I think it'll take a lot of work to come, especially I only looked really at the Tomb King models, but I think it'll take a lot of work to convert them into anything useful for actually old world. There's just so much.
Blood Bowl's amazing. It's a really good game.
When we got time for this, Dan?
I mean, I ain't got time to pin my thousands.
You haven't got time to edit this video and get it out within the next 14 days.
6 months. It'll be a new edition of Blood Bowl by the time I finish. Actually, that's a good shout. I think for the next episode, guys, I think we should maybe predict what could be in the army boxes, and if we'll get army boxes, because essentially the battalions are army boxes, aren't they?
They never do.
Christmas
it's always the mainline games. So 40k and AOS. I'm going to go Space Marines, Eldar, Tau.
Space Marines, all Space Marines.
And lots of demons.
That could be the next Old World army, couldn't it? Who knows?
Ogres. I reckon that's the next Old World army. Ogres.
Yeah, I think so. It makes more sense for them to do new sculpts for the other games and then give us the old ones.
Recycle them.
Yeah, exactly. Scott, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Hope you've enjoyed yourself listening to us waffle, as we do. I'm sure we'll have you back on again, but thanks for joining us, mate. Jack, go on then, do it.
Like, share, subscribe. Everyone, Scott's going to shout out at his event and tell everyone to come and listen to us. Dan's going to do the same at his event. We're going to have, I think we're nearly at 150 followers now, so
we're doing well. We're doing all right.
So it'd be great to bump those numbers up. And yes, we will see you next time in 4 to 6 working months.
Next year. I've already got the episode wrong. Bye, guys. See you later.